Hey, and welcome to Cajun Toy Review. Today, we're going to be looking at Marvel Legends Spider-Man Retro Carded Wave Hobgoblin. Now, this is a figure that I'm really excited about. I love the Hobgoblin. I think the Hobgoblin and the Green Goblin are up in my top favorite Marvel characters. I've always liked the design. I always thought it was cool, the kind of creepy character flying around the glider throwing trick-or-treat bombs and pumpkin bombs and stuff like that. I always thought it was really neat. And this version I really like because it reminds me of the cartoon series that was voiced by Mark Hamill, which was phenomenal, which pretty much all his voice acting is. But yeah, this is really cool. This is and we will compare him to the previous released Hobgoblin, so you can kind of make a decision because one is definitely more animated and bright, while the other one is a little bit more comic based. So let's get into it. So yeah, looking at the box, it is the Spider-Man classic box series with the logo that looks like it's from the original cartoon series. And we got the marquee right here with Hobgoblin looking sweet, throwing that pumpkin bomb. And we can see he does come with the pumpkin bomb, the satchel, purple glider, and he is very bright and colorful in there, looking like a big old piece of candy cone or something. I don't know, but it's a very bright blue, but it does look just like the art. So flipping it over, we can see how you attach accessories, the art again, and a little bit of a read-up. Deploying an eerie arsenal of pumpkin bombs and razor-sharp bats from his goblin glider, the criminal mastermind Hobgoblin has Spider-Man constantly on his guard. And here are some of the other figures in this wave. I have not reviewed any of these yet, so this is the first. But let me know which one you want to see next, and we'll see if we make it happen. UPC on there, guys, if you want. I'll put it in the shots. These are starting to pop up pretty regularly in stores. But yeah, not much else to say about it. Let's go ahead and open this up and check out our Hobgoblin. Alright, so we have our new Hobgoblin out of the box on the turntable, and my first initial impressions of this guy is I think it's a good figure. I like a lot about it. The color scheme is a little off to me. It doesn't, I want the orange to match throughout, but my biggest probably gripe just initially out of the box is the change of the sculpt or pieces with the feet. I'm not a fan of that, and we'll talk about it as we kind of break the figure down and compare them with the others. But just, an initial impression, it's not a bad figure, and if you need a Hobgoblin figure, I don't think you're going to go wrong here. So let's get him off of here and take a look at our Hobgoblin. Okay, and if you are unfamiliar with Hobgoblin and wondering why he looks like a player to select of the Green Goblin, it's because he kind of is a spin-off. Making his debut way back in Amazing Spider-Man number 238 of March 1983, Hobgoblin was created by writer Roger Stern and artist John Romita Jr. Now, these two guys were under a lot of pressure to make more Green Goblin stories because Green Goblin is one of Spider-Man's most famous nemesis and iconic character at that. So, at the time, Norman Osborn, the original Green Goblin, Bart Hamilton, another Green Goblin, and Harry Osborn, his son, the Green Goblin, were all out of commission, two being dead and one no longer crazy, basically, in the storylines. So instead of making a fourth Green Goblin or digging up or dredging one of these characters back through that storyline, they decided to do something new, and they basically spun off of the Green Goblin by having someone reinvent a new character using the Green Goblin tech. And they wanted to give it its medieval look and change it up, and the Hobgoblin was born. Now, several people have worn the Hobgoblin costume and uniform throughout the years in the comics, but we're kind of basically going to talk about the original, who is Roderick Kingsley. Now, Kingsley was a fashion designer, corrupt criminal, and the thing that's originally cool about this character is that he was the Hobgoblin for years, like almost a decade before he was revealed to readers and stuff that who his identity was. So it was really cool to have this character with this mysterious background. Nobody knew who the Hobgoblin was. But yeah, Roderick, as a criminal, and his connections, discovered one of the Goblin's hideouts. And in the hideout, it was full of Goblin tech, gliders, costumes, pumpkin bombs, you name it, it was there. So he basically took all of that. He killed his accomplice associate who led him to this Goblin hideout, so to keep it a secret, and he made it his own, changing the colors, painting it, and improving it. He actually made new weapons, improved a lot of the technology. And after a couple fights with Spider-Man, or his first fight with Spider-Man, not having any super strength and stuff like that, he even perfected the Goblin's serum to make him super strong. So, yeah, that's basically it. That's kind of the origin of him. Now, Ned Leeds, who is another character, is also one of the more famous goblins, who's also a character in the Spider-Man Homecoming and etc. movies. And that's going to be interesting if we see him become Hobgoblin in the future. So that's a possibility. And in the comics, eventually the Green Goblin did come back around, and they had some really cool fights with Green Goblin and Hobgoblin going head to head. So, and then there's Demo Goblin, but that's a whole nother story. So let's take a look at our figure. Alright, so looking at our Hobgoblin figure, he does come with 3 accessories. We get this satchel, which man purse, bag, whatever you want to call it, messenger bag, pouch, goblin, pumpkin bomb. Yeah, just don't call it a purse. Yeah, but he gets this satchel. It's the same one, same mold that we've seen before with the other goblins, other Hobgoblin. And the best way to kind of put it on is to pop his head off, pop off the cloak, sit it on his shoulder, kind of pull it down, pull the cloak over it, and then pop the head on there. It's a little tricky to get it to push flat. There we go. And that'll hold it in place. And that's the best way. It won't move around so much. But yeah, same mold that we've seen before with the little pouch in the bag. There's a nice strap on there. Not a lot of paint on it. Some of the other ones have like really good silver or really good gold. This one has a very, very faint light silver on it. But I do like the purple on it. It does look good, but that's the only detail paint on it. Oh, okay, and he also comes with a Goblin glider. And this one is similar to the other Hobgoblin glider. This one is molded in the purple plastic with some cool red eyes. But it is nice. Same thing as we've seen before. The previous glider, nothing new there. And I will point out my fault with this figure when we get to the articulation and looking at the body. But we also have this pumpkin bomb. Again, this is what we've seen before with pretty much all the goblins and the previous Hobgoblin. These are pretty much either painted solid or translucent like this one. So looking at the figure, he does look good. Like I said, this is pretty much the torso, the waist, the legs, and or from another character. I'm not sure what figure. Might be Bucky Cap with these boots and these different gauntlets. But the torso, the cloak, and the head is all previously used from the previous Hobgoblin. So let's go ahead and bring him out so we can kind of do a comparison as well. Right, so this is the previously released Hobgoblin. This is from the Space Venom wave. Came out a couple years ago. Now, I prefer this one. I do like the chainmail a lot more, but this one is based off the animated series, and for that look, they nailed it. It just, if I have to pick a Hobgoblin, pretty easy which one I'm going to pick. And then there's a third one. Now, this guy's missing his arm. I don't have his wings on right now that it came with because this is from early Marvel Legends wave that I had got, and to get his arm you needed to get Spider-Man 2099, which is a crazy expensive figure. I could never find them at the time when I was collecting, and I didn't feel like I got them loose for a good price, but I never got the arm and the other part of the sword. And then once this Hobgoblin came out, I really didn't care about this guy anymore. He looks more like a goblin, like a elf, or than actually a Hobgoblin to me. There's some cool stuff there, but it is a very skinny anorexic goblin, and he's got a little bit of that classic old Marvel Legends wiggle waggle going on there. But for the point, he is cool. His wings are kind of neat. He ain't gonna stay, so we're just gonna move that guy aside because he sucks. But yeah, these two, like I said, same mold, same cloak. Now you can see the gloves are different. I do much prefer these kind of wrinkled gloves. And then while we're looking at it, these boots. So this is the problem I have with this figure. Mostly these boots right here, you see when you put the glider on, they just kind of fall out. Really simple. They don't stay in there very well. You really got to kind of push them in there. They want to constantly fall off. it sucks. Now, with the previous Goblin, he had these kind of more medieval style boots on, with these little hooks on it. So once you kind of hook them in there, you're gonna make me a liar. He stayed on there. So yeah, that's one of my main gripe with the figure. I didn't care for the boots. It wasn't. It was designed to go in there, and when they took that away, they should have redesigned the glider if they weren't going to make it easy to do on there. So that's kind of sucks. And I can't think of the other Green Goblin. I don't have him on hand to look at his boots. But yeah. And then the last thing, this Hobgoblin has the Demon Hobgoblin face, which is right here. And that is really wicked looking. That's basically the Jason Melendez, I can't remember his last name, where he was actually a straight up Demon Hobgoblin. And they reused this head for the Demon Goblin Build-A-Figure. But yeah, it was different heads for this figure. Anyway, so that's the comparison. But yeah, looking at this guy, like I said, I do love the face. It is the same face as the other one, but it looks really good, especially with that clean paint on there. It's not as dirty as the other Goblin, and it's just a really good sculpt. It was like, ain't broke, don't fix it. And yeah, this is something they can reuse probably again. For another one, I would buy it just because I think this face looks so awesome. I love this cowl. Just that looks so good with all those wrinkles on there. And of course the cloak looks fantastic. I got this black mark on it. It came out of the box like that. But yeah, just like the other one, is tattered. A little rough on there. And not much else detail to talk about. The blue and the yellow, like I said, matches the cartoon, but he looks kind of like a cheap superhero kind of on there. You could put a different head on here and make a really, I don't know, cheesy character. It looks like it'd be an X-Men, actually. Can you make an X-Men out of this? If you wanted to. And I might do that. But yeah, the boots, not really a big fan. Like I said, the gloves don't bother me too much. I would like him to have a pointing figure so you can do like the Goblin Blaster hands. That would be cool. But just got these two gripping hands, and they get the pumpkin bomb in there. You kind of got to wedge it in between his fingers, the little tip, if you want to hold it really well, and that works out for it. And lastly, looking at the articulation of the Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin can look down a bit. The cowl kind of comes up more than the head moves. Can look up about that much. You can do full head rotation. You're gonna have to drag that across the top. I did take the satchel off to get more range to show you. But yeah, full arm rotation. There's a bicep cut, swivel. He has double jointed elbows. These are older arms. Like I said, I think these are either Bucky Cap, but these are hindered by these stupid gauntlets. Yeah, I said stupid. Rotation on the wrist with flex. It's got an ab crunch. You can see it a mile away. And so yeah, he can look down at his goofy boots, and he can bow up about that much far back. You get a gap in there where you can insert a coin. He does have waist swivel, die cut. Hobgoblin can split like a boss. Look at that. Double jointed knees. He does have a boot cut. I think, yeah, boot cut. There's ankle pivot and peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So what do I think about this figure? I think it's a good figure. I think if you didn't have a Hobgoblin, like I said, and you got this Hobgoblin, you're really not going wrong. Now, you're probably customizing, maybe give him a little bit of a wash or something if you want to make him look a little darker, and that wouldn't be bad either. But just as he is, by default, I think he looks cool. I'm a fan of this Hobgoblin. I was a fan of the animated series Hobgoblin because he was done by Mark Hamill and he was amazing. So yeah, I think it's good. I definitely like these animated versions of these figures. It's a nice way to reuse some of these molds and some of these parts for these characters. So a lot of fun. So yeah, if you liked it, let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know if you're going to pick up this figure. What do you think about the Hobgoblin? And who do you prefer, Green Goblin or Hobgoblin? I think that's an easy question, but you never know. But if you like the video, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, check out our other content. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search for Cajun Toy Review. We do reviews for NECA, DC Multiverse, Marvel Legends, and everything else in between. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Like I said, I hope you like it. I got some big stuff coming up. We're going to be doing the Doctor Strange wave and some DC stuff in the mix. Do requests. I got a lot of NECA stuff kind of sitting in the back burner and other things. But yeah, big news coming up, and we're getting close to 500. So exciting, exciting times. I appreciate you all guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Take care of yourself.
Captain America. She-Hulk. Silver Surfer.